28.
28.
28 piccolos.
30.
30 clarinets.
31.
31.
31 trumpets.
22.
22.
22 mellophones.
11 baritones.
23.
23. 23 alto saxes. 12.
12 tenor saxes.
27.
27 drummers.
2 majorettes.
11 trombones.
4
4.
drum majors.
13. 13 tubas.
16.
16. 16 color guard.
This
This.
is the pride of the ACC.
Hello once again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Pride of the ACC. My name is Adam Pohl, joined by the head of University Bands in Jeff Fuchs. And Jeff, hope you're doing well here this week as we get ready for another show.
Yeah, it's been a great week. It's unfortunate the football team didn't get to play last week, but these things are going to happen this season, I think.
There's no doubt about it. And, you know, we've talked a lot about the football team and the marching band and how it relates as far as the experience of those in the marching Tar Heels and football. But Jeff, you know, that's only one of the sports. I mean, people really think about football and basketball, but one of the great things about the marching Tar Heels is the dedication to the athletic department as a whole.
Yeah, you know, as Adam Reep talked about in one of our previous episodes, that was one of the things that Major Y brought to the program, is supporting all of the athletic teams. And that's something we've continued to do. And over the last 4 years or so, we've remade our pet band program to where it's more user-friendly for the students. And also, I think we're doing a better job supporting our teams. In the past, we had 5 pet bands. We now have a band dedicated to field hockey. The Hockey Band is 15 kids who play at all of the field hockey games we can. And it's great. Karen Sheldon, the coach there, has done a great job integrating those kids into her program. We do a thing every fall where she meets with them, talks about rules and strategy. They get on the field and they interact with the players trying to dribble and they get on goal. So it's a great thing. They come interact with them at the game. Their parents, they have a great parent support system, and they're part of that in so much as that, you know, the team's won 2 national championships in a row, defeated the last 2 seasons. And this past a year ago, when they went to the governor's mansion to celebrate the championship, the Hockey Band got to go with them. So that's one of the pieces that we've done. And, you know, we've also revamped. We're doing all volleyball games now. And we've divided our drum line up to create rhythm packs for soccer. So we're at most of the soccer games. And I think the students are now, they're integral parts of the games they're playing rather than just being there. And the teams are enjoying having them there. But we're missing this year. So we'll be back supporting them next year.
I'll tell you, you always think about the memories of your time in the band. And one of my wild memories from my time in the Marching Tar Heels was a game like that. It was a men's soccer playoff game. And we had a freak Chapel Hill snowstorm. I mean, you don't get much snow down there. And there I was, one of about 12 people that made it out and was able to play in the band that day. And the dorms across the way from the soccer stadium were everybody was standing on on their porches and on the decks there outside their rooms and dancing while we were playing and watching the Tar Heels advance in the tournament on a very unique day. So it's you just never know. I mean, I played for so many different types of events: wrestling, women's basketball, like you said, volleyball, men's and women's soccer. It's really something special for the entire athletic department.
Yeah, that's been the fun thing. When we reworked the fall, we also, the next year we reworked the spring.
Mm-hmm.
And we now do, we call it the spring sprinkle. It's just kind of the name that stuck with it. But we do one event for every team. So we do one event for men's and women's tennis. We do men's and women's lacrosse. We do swimming, gymnastics, wrestling, a softball game, a baseball game. Throw in the spring football game.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool that there's, about 10 different sports running during the spring season. And we work with them to either pick their biggest rivalry game or their senior game. And I tell you what, it's something else to see a band at a tennis match. It's not something that's usual, thing, because tennis is always so quiet and
yeah, quiet please, that's what they say, right?
Not with a band there. It's a little but our kids love it, the athletes love it, the coaches love it, so it's given us something a little bit new. And the kids only have to do one event per person, but collectively we cover all of those plus all the men's and women's basketball games. So as a unit, we're able to do about 100 gigs a year, but no individual student has to do 2 meeting.
And incredibly, the first ever event the Marching Tar Heels played at, as far as an athletic event, was a Carolina baseball game almost 120 years ago. So there is a legacy to that going way, way back. Today, we are featuring Casey Spillman, who is one of the great staff members for the Marching Tar Heels. And Casey's been with you for a few years, and he's a local band teacher.
Yeah. I first met Casey several years ago. He was hosting one of our student teachers in Paul Ingram when he taught down in Chatham County at a middle school. And, it's another one of those things, you meet people and you just kind of file things away. And then when Charles Patton left us, Charles was on our staff, and then he got a job at Millbrook High School as assistant principal, and the timing didn't work. So we needed somebody to fill that spot, and worked with Becca Clemens, and she highly recommended Casey, and I remembered him. So we brought him on board, and he adds such a great dimension to our staff, and also got a lovely family, and his wife, and even his mother comes to games with us occasionally. And his daughter is an honorary member of our guard, but Casey's another one that fits really well with our students, and we enjoy having him around.
Well, let's check in now with Casey Spillman.
I'm Casey Spillman. This is my 3rd season working with the Marching Tar Heels, so I guess I came on in 2018. And I work with the low brass and low woodwinds, which includes the tenor saxes, trombones, baritones, and tubas. And I get to do that alongside one of my best friends and almost like sister, Becca Clemens. We have such a good time doing that together. My day job, my full-time job, is the director of bands and orchestras at Carborough High School, which is a 10-minute drive or maybe less even from the university. And one of the things that I love so much about that is, one, its proximity, but two, that I get to network with so many students, current and former, not just from Carborough High School, but from when I used to work in Chatham County before. I serviced, I guess I should say that throughout the course of my career, I've worked with 4 different marching bands. And it's so awesome to see former students from those programs in the Marching Tar Heels and get to see them as college students when I might not have, otherwise gotten to. When they, usually when they leave high school, that's it. And I'll get an email or a phone call every now and then, but most of the time that's just that's it. And so getting to see them for another 4 years afterwards is really great. She loves the color guard at Chapel Hill High, and she loves the color guard at UNC. And the students at UNC have been so gracious, and our staff members, Kayla and Caitlin, who I love dearly also, they have been so gracious with letting her come and spin with them and work with them. And I can just leave Clara with the color guard and go off and work with my sections, and she just does her thing and is hooked. She started learning some of their palm routines for when we're in the stands playing at football games. And just back, even though we only had a few brief days at camp earlier in August, I saw her for the first time picking up a flag and like trying to do some drop spins. And I thought that was fantastic. And everybody knows she's mine because she follows me around, and they all just love seeing her there. It doesn't matter if it's a color guard student or not, but it's so great because one of the things that I love so much about the Marching Tar Heels, and we kind of highlighted it with the Sawyer family. We've talked so much about how family is so important to the band, and this is as literal as it gets, that even though I'm a staff member, that I can bring my family in and integrate them into the band family and really give them such an awesome experience as well. Band is one of those things that just gives so many people an opportunity to learn more about not just themselves, but about each other, about social relationships, about discipline, about work ethic, managing more good time management, things like that, and really gives students a lot of opportunities to feel more comfortable in their own skin and with their skill set when they have more than 200 other people in the same uniform doing the same exact thing. And then, of course, it expands outside of band too, where so many band students become lifelong friends. I mean, we've seen how some of them have ended up getting married and having kids, or, they stay in contact forever. And the same's true for me, that my best friends that I've kept through my entire life have all been band students. It's unfortunate that I didn't get a chance to know some of them a lot better, because one of my favorite things is to not just to teach them and help them, hit their marks better or play their music better or understand that kind of stuff on a deeper level, but just to give them the chance to get to know them as people better. It's unfortunate that I didn't get to spend more time with them, but I'm so hopeful that they don't look at this year as what we didn't get to have, but what we did get to have. And I guess my take on them is that I've been very, very proud of all of them for how well they have handled this, and seems like they're even more motivated for next year as opposed to, well, that's it, I guess I'm done. So it really speaks a lot to their character, their intelligence, and their view of how things will be once everything kind of starts going back to normal.
Well, we are not yet featuring my section that I played in, the trumpets, but I'll tell you something, Jeff. When I was growing up, thinking if I was going to be in the Marching Tar Heels, this was the section that my family thought I'd be in, because my dad was a clarinet player, as we're getting ready to feature our great clarinet section for this year.
Yeah, Adam, one of the special memories I still hold, not a positive memory for you, but it certainly was for us, that I remember your father being a clarinet player in the Army Band Pershing Zone. And when your father passed away, a bunch of us got in the car and drove up to the funeral. And I'll never forget being in Arlington National Cemetery for his burial ceremony. It's to this day the only one I've ever attended in Arlington. But my goodness, what a special ceremony, and then capped off by going to the Army Band Hall for the reception afterwards, which,
right,
for a band guy, that was pretty special to be in the Army Band Hall, see a burial ceremony in Arlington, and of course be there with a bunch of other fraternity brothers to support you and your family on that day.
Yeah, it was, obviously it meant so much to us to have all of you there. And I guess it's another sign. We've talked a lot about the family of what the Marching Tar Heels is, right? And not just in school, but beyond school. I was not a student at Carolina, but a few years outside of or out of graduating from the university. And it really was unbelievable to see that much support, and the family still talks about it to this day. And one of the cool things about that was the bugler there at my father's funeral just a few weeks later was playing taps at Ronald Reagan's funeral. So that was pretty incredible, as a family to see that. And he is a family friend as well. So obviously my father was a clarinet player. He would love to meet some of these clarinetists that we have. Tell us a little bit about this year's clarinet section.
Yeah, well, every year the clarinet section it's one of the more diverse sections we have in the band, both in terms of gender, but also in ethnic and racial breakdown also. They come from all across the country, all across the state, and they bond together and are very energetic. And it's interesting how many of the leaders in our other areas come from the clarinet section. As we look at the leadership over the past years, a lot of pet band conductors, operational assistants, other leaders within the program come from the clarinet section. So they're a great group of young people. In fact, this year, 2 of our drum majors are from the clarinet section. So sometimes they're easy to get lost in the mix, but they don't. They stand out in their own way.
All right, let's take a look at this year's clarinet section.
Hi, my name is Jacob Purcell, and I'm one of the clarinet section captains. I'm a senior studying political science and public policy. After graduation, I plan to enroll in the Masters in the Arts of Teaching program at Carolina to eventually become a high school civics and economics teacher. Not only am I one of Carolina's biggest fans, but I also play rugby for the university.
Hi, my name is Jade Sweeney, and I'm another leader from the clarinet section. I'm a junior from Jacksonville, North Carolina, and I'm majoring in Human Development and Family Studies, and I have a minor in math.
Hey everyone, my name is Zachary Richardson, and I'm one of the clarinet section captains for the fall 2020, spring 2021 Marching Tar Heels. I am a senior from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, and when I graduate in May 2021, I will have a Bachelor of Science in Chemistry with a minor in Spanish for the medical professions. In the future, I look to pursue a career in pharmacy. And one fun fact about me is that in my free time, I like to bead Native American craft work. I cannot wait for you to meet the fun, yet goofy, clarinet section.
The clarinet section is a bit smaller this year. We have 29 members overall, and we have 5 seniors, 12 juniors, 6 sophomores, and 6 freshmen.
Our majors as a section range anywhere from religious studies, public policy, history, and German to biology, chemistry, physics, and mathematics.
One of the traditions of the clarinet section, Group Me, is that we use the poll function. We do tons of silly and random questions that we turn into polls. My favorite throughout my time at Carolina is, how many holes does a straw have? Obviously, the answer is 1.
One of my favorite Group Me polls that the clarinet section raised was, is the Kool-Aid Man the jar or the liquid in the jar? Obviously, the correct answer is the jar.
Sometimes the clarinets like to add themes to our rehearsals, so we'll all show up wearing socks or we'll all wear the same color shirt, but one fun tradition that we have is to at least have one practice a semester dressing up as or wearing cat-themed items because we love cats.
Well, that was a great look at this year's clarinet section, and now it's time to take a look back at one of our alums, as we do here weekly on the Pride of the ACC. And we wanted to feature somebody that, a lot of times with the alumni, Jeff, we talk about what their time was in the band, but Leigh Anne Kasias is somebody that has stayed such an active participant in so many of the things that the Marching Tar Heels still do for alumni today.
Yeah, Leanne is not only a super fan for Carolina, but she's a super fan. And she's always back at homecoming. We always see her on the road at different away football and basketball tournament games. And she is absolutely a staple at our holiday break games for basketball. We started doing that many years ago. Since the kids are off campus, we open up the holiday break basketball games to any alums in the area who want to come and play. And it's been quite a treat to see so many alums, but the one that's always there is Leanne. And sometimes she's the only mellophone player there. Her attendance is probably better than the current students, but we always look and have her there and have her be so supportive of the program. And also I think she enjoys and our kids enjoy the camaraderie they've built over the years since she has been such a staple in that setting.
And one of the things that I've enjoyed about this show that we've done here, Jeff, and I think it's a testament to yourself, is that, you've been a part of this program for more than 2 decades, but we've still been able to feature a lot of people that were in the Marching Tar Heels before you were a part of the program. She was a part of the Dr. Heil era. In fact, her senior year was the year before you came to Carolina, and you've still been able to form a relationship with her. I mean, you just think of all the students that you've worked with over the years as a part of the Marching Tar Heels, and it goes even deeper than that because this is such a community, isn't it?
Yeah, that was something that, I had the good fortune to work with Jim Heil for a year before he left. And Major Y was alive for, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6, 7 years. And I got to know him pretty well while he was still in Chapel Hill, and would bring him back to conduct the Alumni Band. In fact, I was in the hospital the day he died. I got to spend some time with him and personally thank him for all he did to set the program up. But yeah, it's important to me, the program's bigger than any one of us. And it's important to me to do what I can to bring all the band members, all 4,200 of them together in some way. And, there's been transitions over the years, and none of that matters. What really matters is that all of us have been involved with a great organization that we continue to support. And it is, as Charles Corral said, it is the thing that binds us to this place. And so Leanne's a perfect example of that. Even though I didn't know her as a student, I feel like she's one of mine.
Well, that's a great way to introduce her. Let's meet Leanne.
I'm Leigh Anne Kasias. I played mellophone in marching and pep bands, but I was actually a bassoonist in concert band, but clearly one cannot march very well with a bassoon. It is done, but not well. So, and I was in the band from 91 until I graduated in 1995. And I've always enjoyed the ability to come back for homecoming, to get a little bit of a chance to relive our glory days on Keenan's Field. But also I've really appreciated the opportunities that we've had to come back and play in the pep band. And it's great because we get to see one another, but we get to spend time with an actual game with the current students, learn their cheers and teach them some of ours, and just get a chance to spend time with each other again. But also, you can't ever turn down an opportunity to play for a Carolina basketball game. That just can't happen. You've got to be there. I am an attorney. I'm a partner here at Wyatt Early Harris Wheeler in High Point, North Carolina. I am head of our estates department, which means that I do estate planning, administration, and elder law work, meaning that I work with folks who have special needs or obtaining Medicaid or other benefits, as well as handling their estate planning and working with folks when someone passes and handling that work for them and trying to take care of people. And I enjoy it a great deal. I always knew I wanted to be an attorney. I did not know that this was an area of practice that I was going to do until I spent some time as an agent with New York Life and realized how much I loved working with families. I loved working with small business owners, and I enjoyed sitting down with people, planning taking care of them. The passion that I've always had is working with people, doing the best I could to try to help others make their lives easier. And so when I found a way to make that dovetail with a law practice, that's where I found my real happiness, and I wouldn't do anything else. I could have gone back to playing clarinet, which was what I started on, but I liked having the brass instrument. I liked being able to be loud. That was a good thing. And so I switched over onto mellophone during marching and pep band seasons, and I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I so love going back now and seeing that we've got a mellow line of 20 plus mellophones, which is awesome. I love my mellows. I love seeing them at homecoming and basketball games, and they always have a good place in my heart. In 1993, we did win the national championship, but that wasn't a band experience for me. One of the best band experiences that I had actually was also in 93 is when we went to the Peach Bowl. And this was the first Peach Bowl that was in the Georgia Dome. And I remember Dr. Heil at the time cautioning us before we played, we needed to temper ourselves and pace ourselves for the game. But we went out for pregame, and in part of our pregame, we hit the outline of North Carolina. And half the Georgia Dome went up in Carolina blue and screaming, forget it. We were done. We blew it out from there and had a good time. And actually, one of the favorite things and my favorite memories of that night was at the end of the game, Matt Brown, who then was our coach, came all the way across the field in front of the band and thanked us. And that means a lot. That means a lot, meant a lot to me. I know it means a lot to these students to know that what we do does get noticed by the players, by the coaches, that we do make an impact. What they need to know is that right now, even though they can't be on the field, right now they can't even be in a rehearsal room, that they are still marching Tar Heels. They are right now part of something greater. We already welcome them into the Marching Tar Heel family. We can't wait to meet them and spend time playing with them and getting to know them, because the memories that they're going to build, the lessons that they're going to learn, the friendships they're going to establish with their classmates, and even with those of us who've gone before them, will carry them through the rest of their lives. It is very important to me. I've always treasured being part of the Marching Tar Heels. Anytime I hear them play, watch them march, it's good to know that you've been a part of it. So even though they can't play right now, they're already part of the family. We welcome them, we love them, and we look forward to seeing them.
Welcome back to the Pride of the ACC, and it's time to take a look back at a performance from the past of the Marching Tar Heels. And Jeff, in the first few shows, we looked at some of the things that your students were able to do this year, the drum line, the guard. Then we kind of transitioned into some more school songs, the pregame, and the spelling of Carolina that we did last week. But we're going to move into some of the halftime shows now from years past. And I know the one from this week is one that you look back upon fondly. Boy, I mean, looking back at it, it was a very unique performance.
Yeah, we always have tried to do something a little bit outside the box. I think, the old college marching band thing has got to evolve. And this performance we're showing today is back from 2011. It's hard to believe it's been that long ago, but as the basis of the show, we use the jazz standard Big Noise from Winnetka, and it's a great drum feature. So we featured our drum line, but a big part of the show is all of the students in the horn line come to the sidelines and grab a swing flag. And a big piece of the show is very visual in that they all have flags and they all do flag work for a big piece of the show. And then they come back at the end for a special thing. But a couple years before that, we had done a show where everybody had played a drum of some sort or beat on something. So we continue to this day to look for things that are different and unique that will catch people's attention and keep them in the stands at halftime to see what we're doing next. So this was an all-time favorite, and it drove Matt McClure, my colleague at the time, crazy because he was in charge of moving all the bucket full of flags and all that stuff around for not only game day but for the rehearsals leading up to it. But he was a good sport about it, and I think
you probably almost set a Guinness Book of World Records for most guard flags on the field at one time. I mean, how many flags did you have?
I think there were about 260 total. Matt could tell you exactly. He loaded and unloaded that van so many times with those flags, and but always with a smile on the surface, we'll say.
On the surface, that's right. I love it. Well, let's see the product of all that grunt work to get all these flags on the field. That was quite a visual. Big noise from Winnetka back in 2011.
Please welcome the 2011 Marching Tar Heels. For our final Kenan Stadium performance for 2011, we present an encore performance on the show we performed for the Louisville game on October the 15th. We hope you enjoy the sights and sounds of the big band classic, Big Noise from Winnetka.
was some visual, Jeff. I mean, once again, we talked about it prior to it, but I know you're always trying to be innovative and unique. And from somebody that's watched so many shows of marching bands over the years, that was a unique one.
Yeah, that was a fun one to work on. I remember it very well. Another person that had a big part in that was Dwayne Barnes, our guard instructor at the time. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I have these ideas and then I throw it on other people to make it happen, but it worked out well and it was very effective, as you could tell from the crowd response.
So Jeff, that's going to do it for another week. And I know that we're looking forward towards next week, but tell us about what's going to be coming up here in the next week for the Marching Tar Heels.
Well, we're going to keep working on our sectionals. We've got some section activities planned for the students this week. There's also some of our Greek music organizations are getting together. And gosh, we're excited that the governor has opened up for October football games at 7% capacity can go to the games. And we're sure hoping that maybe some of our students can be included in that number and be there to support the Tar Heels when they come home in October.
Well, that is fantastic. Folks, that's Jeff Fuchs. My name is Adam Pohl. Thanks again for being with us for another edition of the Pride of the ACC. Have a great evening, everybody.